Apparently now, the institutions of our society have become so corrupt that even conservative institutions, purportedly conservative institutions, are pushing propaganda. And this brings me to, again, this is the most disturbing thing that I have seen in quite a while. Not because of what it says. I've seen this sort of content on CNN, MSNBC, Good Morning America for that matter. But because of where this appeared. So this appeared on Fox News on Friday. And the fact that this appeared on Fox News, a purportedly conservative network that stands for the values of traditional American conservatism and believes in Judeo-Christian values, and that it is propagandizing openly on behalf of transing small children, because that's what this segment is. It was a 5-minute segment about why it is not just okay, it is good to try to turn your little girl into a little boy. And I want to go through it in detail because it is suggestive of how the insane amorality and immorality of the left have completely penetrated mainstream conservative institutions because everybody is so afraid of just saying no. This was on Fox News, and this is unbelievable to me. It's unbelievable to me. And frankly, as Matt Walsh has said, if I don't appear on Fox News because I'm saying this, well, so be it. But somebody is going to have to call out the fact that this is too important an institution for the right to simply let it go. It really is. Right? Again, if MSNBC or CNN did this segment, it'd be like, okay, well, that's par for the course. But Fox News, there are few enough conservative outlets, and Fox News being the largest, it kind of matters. If Fox News starts embracing the radical left gender ideology that the left espouses, it's no longer conservative and it can't be trusted. Honest to goodness, I don't know what they're thinking, but this is insane. So this appeared on Fox News on Friday.
If you saw me walking down the street, you wouldn't think anything different.
14-year-old Ryland Whittington is a typical Southern California teenager. And the Whittingtons, along with mom Hillary, dad Jeff, and sister Brinley, are a typical family. The only difference, though, in Ryland's eyes, is what this family can mean to the tens of thousands of kids under 18 who identify as transgender.
We put our story out there so people could see that there's another family out there that is going through what we're going through, or there's another family who's proud of who they are.
Before Ryland could even speak, he managed to tell his parents that he is a boy.
I could just see that it wasn't him trying to be a brat. It was painful. It was truly painful for him to have to wear feminine clothing and for us constantly telling him that you're a girl.
Okay, pause it for a second, please. This is insane. Before Ryland could speak, again, this is on Fox News. This is Fox News saying it is good to trans the children. Before the kid could speak, she was saying she didn't want, first of all, since when do 2-year-olds make decisions? Okay, I have a 2-year-old. My 2-year-old this morning, I went into her room and she was lying in her crib and she had a large pee-filled diaper. And I said, is it just pee or is it poo? And she said, it's pee. And naturally there was poo inside. Is this the kind of person you want making decisions about their lifelong, quote unquote, gender identity? Should I take my 2-year-old seriously when she expresses her needs, wants, and desires? Because if I did, she'd be wearing her sky pajamas all day long, every day, dirty, filled with urine. So no, my 2-year-old does not get to make decisions. I love her. She's sweet. She's 2. It's because I love her that there are rules and because I am the parent. But here's Fox News promoting the idea that kids, before they can speak, can pick membership in the opposite gender. Kids don't even know the alphabet at this point. The kid literally, it says in the report, does not know how to talk. Does not know how to talk. And the parents are like, oh, well, that must be the opposite gender, which means that this is Munchausen syndrome by proxy. That's all this is. These parents have decided that they wanted to trans their kid. And because they wanted to trans their kid, they were going to make up. And how do I know this? Because by the time this kid was 5, mom was writing books and going on national TV about this. By the time the kid was 5. That's about the parents. That's not about the kid. They're horrible for this little girl. It's insane. Okay, and Fox News promoting it.
When Ryland came out at age 5, a few years later, he had the full support of his parents.
Initially, there was some pushback from us in trying to understand this.
We were confused like most people are. We thought that gender and sexuality were the same thing. It took us a while to figure out that those two things are different and that children actually do recognize their gender identity very young. Some of them, not all.
But they listened to Ryland and to Hillary's conservative faith.
For me, it's just a deep spiritual belief that...
Okay, stop it right there. This is just open propaganda. Hillary's conservative faith, really? Tell me about how her conservative faith says there's no such thing as male or female and boys can be girls. Please explain. Please explain how conservative faith tells you. Again, now we're speaking of faith context. And when we talk about transgenderism, I don't cite the Bible. But when you start talking about conservative faith, which suggests to me some sort of biblical adherence, how do you explain the opening of Genesis, which specifically says male and female he made them? Please explain how your conservative faith says, by the way, the Bible specifically says men are not to dress like women and women are not to dress like men. Please explain how it is that you believe that your conservative faith justifies taking a baby girl and turning him into a socially transitioned baby boy who will always be a girl and who will now spend the rest of her life in this conflict with her own biology. And this is what Fox News is pushing. This is insane and insulting to its audience and insulting to reality, by the way, because the whole thing is just pure propaganda, as we will see.
You believe in God and he, created us the way he wanted us. Well, then yes, he created Rylan just the way he is.
And
so that's why he needs, that's why he created Rylan the way he is, which is why we're going to need to put puberty blockers in Rylan's. So God created this. We need to put puberty blockers in it and also maybe add a penis later on and cut off healthy breasts through messed. If we go through full transition, this is where it's going. Full on hormonal suppressants, testosterone treatments, pumping hormones into the body, changing the body's construction, changing the health outcomes, cutting off healthy breast tissue. Because that's the way God made it, says mom with her conservative faith on Fox News.
They met in support groups.
There was a father who was sitting across the table. He says, "You have no idea how lucky you are to be here," which kind of took me back. I didn't at that point consider myself lucky to be there. And he said, our child had displayed this gender dysphoria or this gender misalignment at the same age that Rylan has. And we didn't listen and we pushed back.
That pushback led that child to turn to self-harm as a teenager, which 60% of trans and non-binary kids engage in, according to the Trevor Project. More than 50% consider suicide.
That for me was the turning point. I didn't want to see Rylan to go through that.
I'd rather have a living son than a dead daughter.
This is propaganda. Okay, that's pure Trevor Project propaganda. The idea that your choice is between a suicidal girl and a perfectly happy boy is nonsense. It's nonsense. Longitudinal studies show the suicidal ideation rate among LGBT youth is way higher than among cisgender youth, like way higher, and it remains that way no matter the treatment, no matter so if you take a kid who is confused and you refuse the possibility of desistance, which is what happens for the vast majority of kids who have gender questioning at young ages. The vast majority, somewhere between 75% and 90% of kids who have gender questioning at a young age will grow out of it. Many of them turn out to be gay, but many of them grow out of it, whether it's gay or straight, whatever. When you stop that, when you start socially transitioning a child and reinforcing in the child the notion that this kid is meant, what do you think that kid's going to do? Now the kid has to stand up to mom and dad in order to say, no, actually, I am a girl. This is madness. And I'm not going to get over the fact that this is on Fox News because it demonstrates how the mainstream institutions of our society, including the ones that you may trust as a conservative, are now stabbing you directly between the shoulder blades with this kind of stuff.
We had pushed back and done what a lot of parents do. I don't think that we would have either one of the kids that you see before you here today.
Allowing him to live authentically and true to himself and be who he really feels like he is. When you get to know Rylan, you see just how proud and confident he is of himself.
Rylan's story got international attention in 2014 when a family YouTube video went viral. And Hillary has since written a book called Raising Rylan.
Okay, pause it there. There's a shock. In 2014, this kid is now 14. Okay, I may not be amazing at math. The kid is 14. That means he became an international superstar trans kid at age 6. At age 6. Does this seem like safe parenting to you, or does this seem like child abuse? Taking a small kid, socially transitioning the small kid at the age of 6 after saying that the kid was exhibiting the notion that she wanted to be a he before she could talk. And then you're writing books and going on national TV. Does it seem like really on Fox News? Okay, keep going.
I never thought that I would be known for this as well as I am, but really it's just a small part of who I am.
He just brushes things off his shoulders like it's fine. He moves on in his life and he's just kind of, I think everything we've been through, he's just learned to do that and he's really good at it. I could never do that.
The Whittingtons believe sharing their story could make a lasting difference in another child's life, something they learned from that support group father nearly a decade ago.
I'm just here to make the ride smoother for others. You might be struggling right now, but we believe in you, this family. We might not know you, we might not know where you live, but, you know, we understand you and we believe in you.
Just a pure propaganda piece.
What extraordinary courage displayed by Ryland, his sister Brinley, father Jeff, and mom Hillary. I want to thank the Whittington family for speaking to us. It's not easy, particularly at a time when transgender issues have been politicized. People are afraid of what they do not understand, Dana. This family hopes their story will lead to more understanding, more acceptance, and ultimately more love.
Just pure propaganda, pure insane propaganda. People are afraid of what if we do understand your agenda? What if we are afraid of is the agenda, because the agenda is garbage and because it's harming children and because it's deliberately promoting propaganda that is based not in science, but in ideological nonsense rooted in opposition to Judeo-Christian values and traditions and mores and rules and roles? What if that's what we are concerned about? And what if we're particularly concerned when it starts taking over major American conservative institutions like Fox News? If you're a Fox News viewer, you should think very seriously about whether you wish to give a company that promotes this kind of stuff your business. Seriously, I want to watch Fox News. I'm friends with a huge number of people who work at Fox News, including most of the hosts. And I know that most of the hosts do not agree with Fox News becoming a propaganda outlet on behalf of the most radical left agenda on this sort of stuff. They can't. There's no way they do. I've talked to many of them, and I know they don't, as a matter of fact. The fact that management, I assume, crammed this down or went ahead with this because this was greenlit. It was a fully produced segment, which cost Fox money. It's a betrayal of Fox's audience. It's a betrayal of many of the people who work at Fox. And more than anything, it's a reinforcement of the deep rot that has taken place at the core of our institutions, including in many conservative institutions, which are either too cowardly to defend values that matter or have joined full scale in the attack on those values. I hope you enjoyed that clip from The Ben Shapiro Show. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you stay up to date with all our future content.